It's Wednesday, November 25. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced amendments to the proposed disaster risk management measures for COVID-19 for the period December 2020 to mid-January 2020.
These are not normal times, and we will not be able to celebrate Christmas in the normal way this year. Celebrating Christmas in the normal way could mean that we would have to keep our schools closed or shut down our economy even more than it is now restricted. We must continue to be vigilant and responsible over the next few months, starting with the upcoming Christmas season.
He was speaking in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
So for the Christmas period, that is for the month of December through to mid-January, the gathering limit will remain in place at 15 persons, and the prohibition for parties and events and such like will remain in place. The proposed curfew hours will be as follows. For the month of December, with exceptions for the public holidays, the curfew will commence at 10 p.m. nightly and end at 5 a.m. each morning. On Christmas Day and Boxing Day, the curfew will commence at 7 p.m. and end at 5 a.m. the following morning. Movement will therefore only be permitted between 5 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Christmas Day and Boxing Day. On December 27th, therefore, the curfew hour will revert to 10 p.m. nightly, including December 31st, 2020, which is New Year's Eve. On New Year's Day, January 1st, 2021, the curfew will commence at 7 p.m. and end at 5 a.m. the following morning. From January 2 to the 15th of January 2021, we will return to the 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew.
Cabinet has given the nod for work to commence on the Modernization of Agriculture program. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Floyd Green gave an update during a post-cabinet press briefing on Wednesday.
Which is a 5-year project that will be executed by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and will be financed by a U.S. $25 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank. As the name suggests, this project is really going to be the pillar upon which we stand in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and our drive to modernize agriculture. The objective is to increase agricultural productivity and to increase income to our beneficiary smallholder farmers. We're going to be focusing a lot on agricultural health and food safety and how can we strengthen and develop local and export market linkages.
The media was also updated on rehabilitation of roads, especially corridors damaged by recent heavy rains. The National Work Agency's communication manager, Stephen Shaw, gave an update.
As we all know, the country did suffer significant impact as a result of the latest weather event. And up to a couple of weeks ago, we had about 5 corridors that were still impassable. We have managed to reduce that number to about 3 at this time. We have 1 in Clarendon and we have 2 in St. Andrew. The 2 in St. Andrew, the chief one would be Gordon Town Road, and that one persons would have been calling us at the agency. They would have been calling the Member of Parliament and literally looking to the government for a fix. Our response has been twofold. we maintain that persons ought to use the corridor through Silver Hill Gap, section Newcastle. That's the alternative, the official alternative, because we have closed Gardentown Road. We have seen where persons are using it. It is extremely dangerous. I saw a video where someone was attempting to cross that small bit of road, and it was raining and flood waters coming down, and the person got so scared they turned back. They ran back. They didn't even turn around and walk. The person was obviously scared. So that's the nature of the area. While saying that we're working on the Savage Pen Road. Now, that comes with its own set of challenges. We have had to be doing what we don't usually do when we're doing these kinds of activities, what is referred to as double handling. The material that we're using to first, as a precursor to the base being laid, we're using shingle, because what is there now is just earth, just dirt. So we're shingling the area, and after that, the intention is to put base material and then a final surface.
The World Health Organization says more vaccines are needed to combat the novel coronavirus. 3 vaccines have so far shown promise, having successful clinical trials. Head scientist at the World Health Organization, Dr. Samaya Swaminathan, hopes more vaccines will be developed.
Because we do need a variety of vaccines out there that will target different groups better, that will have different storage conditions, and also the issue of affordability is also important to keep in mind.
Dr. Samaya Swaminathan says the positive news about the vaccines known as AstraZeneca, Pfizer and Moderna are encouraging, especially with news that they are heat stable.
That, of course, has huge logistical advantages for transporting and delivering this vaccine to cities and towns and villages and rural areas around the world.
More information regarding AstraZeneca is expected next week.
We are also aware that AstraZeneca is also submitting the dossiers to the European Medicines Agency, and we do have a very close collaboration. There are actually 8 sites and some of them are manufacturing sites. So we will be analyzing this data with very carefully, but very much welcome the results so far.
Despite the positive news, the WHO executive is encouraging caution as scientists work to have the drugs paced through their final stages early next year.
But again, this is based on rather small numbers, and I think we need to wait to see the results, both of the efficacy and the safety. The AstraZeneca vaccine is also being currently trialed in many other countries, and eventually we should have data on about 60,000 patients or so that will enable us really to have a much more informed decision. So we await discussions with the company, and they've already talking with our pre-qualification program.
According to the Center for Disease Control, CDC, experts believe that getting a COVID-19 vaccine may help keep people from getting seriously ill, even if they do get COVID-19. Getting vaccinated may also protect people around you, particularly people at increased risk for severe illness from COVID-19. Jamaican students are set to receive Microsoft's 365 educational software license free of cost. Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Favour Williams, made the announcement in Parliament on Tuesday. Here's more in this report.
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced the nation to confront the digital age of the 21st century. One of the sectors where this has become obvious is education. The introduction of 5,000 software licenses valued at 2.1 billion Jamaican dollars will allow educators to inject even more technology into learning.
The free 500,000 licenses of Office 365 EDU A3 license plan for students in Jamaica include full Office suite with Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Publisher, for PC only, access, PC only, and services that include Teams, SharePoint, Forms, etc. This license will also allow 500,000 students to download their Office Pro Plus, Word, Excel, etc. to any of their home PCs, so they enjoy the same experience at home and at school.
Minister Williams says the Education Ministry will be distributing the Microsoft licenses across the board.
The ministry will be distributing these licenses to our classroom teachers or principals, students at the secondary level, as well as students at our teachers' colleges, our community colleges, other multidisciplinary institutions, Edna Manley College for the Visual and Performing Arts, the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, G.C. Foster College, the Caribbean Maritime University, Nocalva Polytech, students in the equivalent of grades 10 to 13 at our independent schools, and children in our primary schools.
She says Microsoft has expressed its commitment to education in Jamaica.
Country Manager for Microsoft Jamaica, Yamil Bustamante, has remarked Microsoft will continue to generate more efficient and safe educational environments for Jamaica's students through Office 365, a complete set of tools that will allow teachers and students to connect and continue their learning paths.
Ending her update to her colleagues, Minister Williams noted that since this is a cloud-based platform, students will always have the most current and secure version of the 365 Microsoft Suite. Melvin Pennant, PBCJ News.
Minister of Education, Youth and Information Favour Williams has condemned the killing of 81-year-old Iselin McFarlane and her granddaughters over the weekend in St. Catherine.
This week, our heart aches for two more of our children. They are Christina and Michelle McFarlane. Unfortunately, on Sunday, November 22nd, we were met with the sad news of the murder of Christina and Michelle McFarlane, along with their grandmother. They were reported to be shot by gunmen in their house in Trial Heights, St. Catherine. 6-year-old Michelle and 10-year-old Christina were students at Spanish Town Primary School.
Opposition Member of Parliament Angela Brown Burke also addressed the incident.
I wanted to start by sharing our own condolences and prayers for the families of Christina, Michelle McFarlane, Michael, O'Shane, and so many of our children who have had to face tragic circumstances. In particular, the death of Christina, of the McFarlanes, along with their grandmother, really is an incident that has touched the hearts of many Jamaican parents and individuals.
Today, Wednesday, November 25, is being recognized as International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Children and Women. Unfortunately, today's activities are shadowed by a triple murder involving 3 females in Trial Heights, St. Catherine.
As a St. Catherine Member of Parliament, as a minister, as a mother, as a grandmother, as a woman, as a citizen of Jamaica, I feel the pain of this vile act to my core. Madam Speaker, there can be no excuse for this wickedness. We condemn it in the strongest sense. We commiserate with and send our condolences to the family.
Words from Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, as she began her address to Parliament ahead of Wednesday's commemoration of the International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women.
This crime highlights the need for us to move quickly along the process, move the process quickly along towards implementing the recommendations and amending the laws to give greater protection to our people, which will serve as deterrence and to eliminate the violence.
She noted the legislations being created to protect the country's most vulnerable persons, such as the Sexual Offense Act, Offences Against the Person Act, the Domestic Violence Act, and the Child Care and Protection Act.
As a country, we feel distress and we sometimes despair when we hear of these brutal acts of violence. But we mustn't retreat and we must not surrender. And we cannot give in to the gunmen. This is when we must fight back stronger than ever. Fight back to the point where they have to retreat and not us. We cannot surrender Jamaica, Madam Speaker, and we must develop a steel-like determination that we will end the violence, knowing that it takes all of us to end the violence. Every single member of Parliament here must commit himself and herself to go into your constituency and condemn this act and any such act, and to let them know we are not going to surrender, we are not going to retreat, and we're going to see that this violence ends. It can end. It must end, and it will end.
In addition to enforcing tougher legislations, Minister Grange also spoke of 3 properties purchased to be used as shelters for survivors of domestic violence.
And the first property, Madam Speaker, after significant refurbishing and reconstruction, has been transformed into a safe and comfortable facility to house women who are victims of abuse and their children. We are now open and ready to take our women in who are being abused. The facility will accept clients even while we continue to receive donations to make it more comfortable and build out our programs to help women to rebuild their lives and get back on their feet. I use this opportunity, Madam Speaker, to read out the 24-hour hotline numbers for women who need the shelter. 876-553-0372 or 876-929-2997.
2 other properties are being renovated. Members of the public are being asked to wear the purple ribbon in recognition of the fight to end violence against women for the next 16 days, marking 16 days of activism. Gabriel Thompson now gives us a quick look at the latest market movements. Here's the business report.
In Tuesday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 2,341 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 82 stocks, of which 38 advanced, 35 declined, and 9 traded firm. The Junior Market Index declined by 11 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for AMG Packaging and Paper Company, Barita Investments Limited, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Access Financial Services, and Berger Paints Jamaica. Trading firm were 138 Students Living Jamaica Variable Preference, Honeybun Limited, and JMMB Group Limited. Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited was the volume leader with 21.7 million units, followed by Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with 15.1 million units, and JMMB Group Limited with 5.3 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Tuesday, November 24, ended trading at $148.07. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $113.70. The pound sterling traded for $196.35, and the euro ended trading at $178.35. Oil rose for a 4th straight session on Wednesday as the market shrugged off an industry report showing U.S. crude stockpiles rose more than expected, extending a rally driven by hopes that a COVID-19 vaccine will boost fuel demand. Brent crude futures rose 74 cents to $48.60 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 58 cents to $45.49 a barrel. And that does it for this edition of the Business Report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
In today's world, more and more persons are turning to cosmetic assistance to enhance their health and appearance. For children, the sucking of the finger is ubiquitous. However, this seemingly innocent activity can change the shape of your face. In this episode of Living Healthy, HD Jazzes explore the issue.
Hi, welcome to another episode of HD's Jazz. Today we're going to be talking about the bending tree. Did you know that some children actually start sucking a finger from in the womb? I can tell you from first-hand experience, my daughter's first picture, the ultrasound, was of the lovely child sucking her finger in the womb. Obviously, I was starting from behind the starting point, right? What do? It's quite natural for children to seek comfort in sucking a thumb, a finger, a lip, or sometimes even the tongue. The challenge with that is slow, steady pressure can actually create a problem with soft forming bone. A child's bone is very soft and can move quite easily. Just like these two trees. Can you see this one, the bend in the tree? This actually took place when the tree was much younger. And notice the shape has been maintained as opposed to this tree which stands nice and tall. Similarly, in our mouths, it's possible to change the shape of a face for a lifetime. Oftentimes, the thumb can push the roof of the mouth up, the teeth fall in, and it totally changes how you look. And it changes the bite. So the back teeth are touching, but there's a big space between the top and the bottom teeth. Sometimes the teeth are flared, sometimes they're pushed back, sometimes the bite is in reverse, what we call a cross bite. Many things can happen that affect how the child is able to function with chewing, swallowing, sometimes even breathing. Yes, because sometimes the tongue is pushed out of place to the point that a child may make a lot of gurgling sound when they're sleeping, what we would call snoring. It means that there's a challenge with the airway. And if the tongue has been pushed back because of a habit, that can really happen. Or we may create a challenge with speaking. There are certain sounds, the S and the F and the TH and the N, where we are required to contact the tongue with the front teeth. And it's possible that you may hear a lisping sound when you really should hear S, because there's so much space. And you know something else? Children who suck fingers are very prone to bacterial infections because they don't think about where their fingers have been before they put it in the mouth. So there are a lot of unhealthy things that can happen when children suck fingers or blankies or lips or anything that should not be in the mouth on a regular basis. I wish I had the answer to correcting that problem. Some parents have tried putting bad tasting things on the fingers. Some have tried bribing the children. Some of it has worked. I don't know how much. But if I had the one answer, I guarantee you I would be a multi-millionaire by now. The good news, though, is that we have a specialist, an orofacial myologist who can work with your children to break the habits. The earlier we can break the habit, the better. So, as you can see, bad oral habits can lead to a lifetime of damage. You want to hear more? Check us out on FYI, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. See you next time on HD's Jazz. Steady pressure over a long period of time on soft bone that is forming and shaping and that can easily So when I said fast, I just get it out of the way. No, just slow me down. I have to think. I don't like to think.
In regional news, vendors at Arawak K in the Bahamas have been given the green light to reopen business. Business owners say several hurdles are hindering their ability to make money. Giorgio Bain reports.
Business has been slow to return to the once bustling tourist hotspot here at Arawak Key. But according to some stall owners, a closed gate and early curfew times are not playing into growing business numbers.
When the people start to come out, it's the police is harassing them and running them off the key out of your businesses. I understand that the curfew through the week is 9 o'clock. The police is coming and saying 8 o'clock you should close your business. On Sundays, business is supposed to be closed by 6 o'clock, or at least you should be home by 6. But the police is coming like 4 o'clock, 4:30.
Vice President of the Arawak Key Association and the owner of Candy's Restaurant and Bar, Lillian Smith, says Sundays were their busiest day until police started shutting down businesses well ahead of curfew.
Before we had about 13 persons open. On Sunday past, we had 9. And so I know the numbers are going to decrease.
Another concern, she said, is the closure of the Western Gate, which has been a huge deterrent to customers. Tables that would usually be packed with a busy lunchtime crowd at Legacy Deck were empty today. And according to Ronnie Clark, confusion over curbside services and indoor regulations are to blame.
Unfortunately, because Fish Fry was always a hangout, a lot of persons, because we were on curbside, they probably still feel like we still are on curbside, even though we can do the outdoor dining now.
We put vendors' concern to Chief Superintendent Christopher Wright, in charge of the Northwestern Division. He says the directives came from the Commissioner of Police and officers are just following the law.
I don't know what the complaints are all about, but we are only abiding by what the law says and the emergency orders. But I will speak to them and hear what they have to say and deal with it and address it.
Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
In sports, we go to cricket. West Indies head coach Phil Simmons says that in order for batsmen to secure a spot in the squad, they will have to post big runs. Simmons' comments comes as the regional team prepares to take on New Zealand A in a 4-day warm-up match starting today. Simmons was unequivocal that the batsmen in the team are now under pressure to perform. More so, Jamaican batsmen John Campbell and Jermaine Blackwood, who failed to make a significant contribution in the opening of the 3-day game against New Zealand A recently. Campbell and Blackwood made just 4 and 8 runs, respectively, in that match. The coach stressed that it wouldn't be the last chance for Campbell or Blackwood to show their skills, as he believed that the abundance of talent in the squad and the competition for places would bring out the best in the men.
Football maestro Diego Maradona has died at the age of 60. The former Argentina attacking midfielder and manager had a cardiac arrest at home. He had successful surgery on a brain clot earlier in November and was being treated for alcohol dependency. Regarded as one of the greatest players of all time, Maradona captained Argentina to their 1986 World Cup win. He played for Barcelona and Napoli during his club career, winning 2 Series A titles with the Italian side.
And that's the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.